Imagine stumbling upon a land completely hidden from the world for centuries.
Right.
Yet it's brimming with knowledge, advancements, stuff beyond our wildest imagination.
Yeah.
Today we're taking a deep dive into just such a place, Bensalem, from Francis Bacon's New Atlantis.
And what's fascinating, really right from the get-go, is this idea of a society choosing seclusion.
Deliberately.
Yeah, not because they're hiding from enemies, it seems, but maybe to nurture their own intellectual pursuits.
Exactly. So we'll be unpacking key parts of this amazing work written way back in 1626.
A long time ago.
It tells the story of these European travelers who, after this awful voyage from Peru, they were heading to China and Japan.
A really rough trip.
And they just unexpectedly find themselves off the coast of this isolated island nation, in the South Sea, no less.
And for you listening, our mission here is not just to retell the story.
Right.
We really want to pull out the most compelling bits, insights into Bensalem's unique society, their incredible science.
Astonishing, really.
And the deep reasons behind why they stayed hidden for so long. So, yeah, get ready for some aha moments, hopefully. A glimpse into somewhere truly extraordinary.
Okay, so let's get into that first encounter. These sailors, they're starving, lost.
Desperate situation.
So they're obviously thrilled to see land. But that relief, it quickly turns into a very cautious reception.
The way Bensalem makes contact says so much. This small boat comes out.
Right.
An officer holding this very specific staff, yellow and blue tip staff, and he delivers a message.
And get this written in Hebrew, Greek, Latin, and Spanish.
Instantly tells you they know about the outside world, right?
Yeah.
It suggests they're gathering intelligence somehow, even while isolated.
Totally. And this scroll, this parchment, it basically lays out the rules. It says, you've got 16 days, unless we say otherwise, but tell us what you need now.
And the signature.
Yeah, the signature. Cherubim's wings and a cross.
That must have been, well, powerful, maybe confusing for these stranded Europeans.
Imagine. You're facing death, and then you get this multilingual message with a cross on it.
That cross probably offered some comfort, though. A sign of maybe shared ground in this totally alien place.
So they respond in Spanish, detail their sick crew, offer to trade, standard European approach.
Makes sense.
But then this Bensalemite servant, he refuses any payment. He says, what? Twice paid?
See, that refusal, it immediately shines a light on Bensalem's values.
Like that.
It hints at a society where maybe serving the state, the collective, is its own reward.
Oh.
It's totally different from the profit-driven world the Europeans knew.
Then just 3 hours later, this Reverend Governor shows up. Very dignified.
Azure and green robes.
A partly gilded boat, another boat with 20 people following. It's all very formal, very deliberate.
And that measured approach, asking for just a small group to meet him on the water, not boarding right away.
Yeah.
It shows they have a protocol, right, for dealing with the unknown. Control and information first.
And then that crucial question, shouted in Spanish. Are ye Christians?
Loudly, yeah.
Their yes answer seems to immediately lower the tension. Probably because of that cross symbol they saw earlier.
Makes sense.
The governor thanks God, then demands an oath.
And focusing immediately on religion. It's interesting. How did this isolated place keep that faith? And the oath itself, proving they're not pirates, haven't shed blood unlawfully.
40 days, specifically.
Right. It shows they care about keeping the peace, maintaining order in their little sphere.
And the reason they don't board the ship is because the Europeans have so many sick people.
Ah, the health conservator warned him.
Exactly. Public health, preventing disease, spread clearly huge priorities for them. Pretty advanced thinking for back then.
Absolutely. It's basically quarantine procedures, isn't it? Shows a sophisticated understanding of contagion, maybe better than 17th century Europe had.
But it's not all cold rules. The notary comes back with this fragrant fruit.
An orange tawny and scarlet one.
Yeah, says it's a preservative against infection. He gives the oath, invites them to the stranger's house the next morning.
And again,
Payment refused. I'm salaried by the state.
that fruit is practical and symbolic, isn't it? A health measure and a welcome gesture. And the salaried official thing just reinforces that idea. Service over personal gain.
So next morning, the first officer comes back to escort them, explains the early hours so they have a full day for their business.
Efficient.
And they even sent a few guys ahead to check the accommodations. Very considerate, actually.
That mix efficiency, consideration, but still cautious. It points to a well-run, humane society.
And the welcome walking through the city. 3 fair streets, people lining the way.
Well, not gawking.
No. Not out of wonder, the text says, but to welcome them. They offer this slight spreading of the arms as a greeting, quiet courtesy.
Imagine that. A welcome without the big spectacle. Suggests a culture of order, self-composure maybe. Strangers aren't a huge shock.
In the stranger's house itself, it's impressive. Brick, but bluer than European brick. Handsome windows.
And the space.
Loads of space. 19 rooms for 51 people, plus better rooms for the leaders, and this whole long gallery set up as an infirmary with cedar partitions.
The scale, the thoughtful design. It shows they really invest in hospitality, in caring for arrivals, even unexpected ones.
Then the officer lays down another rule. 3 days confined indoors. For rest, he said.
It reassures them.
Yeah, says they'll lack nothing, assigns 6 attendants. The travelers are grateful, offer pistolets, pistols.
Whoa.
Same answer. What? Twice paid.
That line really hammers home their ethics, doesn't it? And the 3-day confinement, basically quarantine again, health and controlled interaction.
And the food and drink they get. Excellent. Good quality stuff, better than college fare back home.
3 kinds of drinks.
Grape wine, a clear grain drink like ale, cider from local fruit, plus loads of those scarlet oranges and these little gray-white pills for seasickness. They thought of everything.
The variety, the quality, suggests it's a land of plenty, and they clearly know a thing or two about nutrition and remedies.
So at this point, the narrator pulls his crew aside. Reminds them, look, we landed miraculously, but we're outsiders here.
Precarious position.
Exactly. Need to be pious, behave well, especially during these 3 days indoors. Their manners will be watched.
Good point. They're aware of the cultural gap, the need to make a good impression. They know they're vulnerable.
The crew promises to be sober and civil. And amazingly, the sick guys start getting better really quickly during those 3 days.
Huh. Almost like the place itself is healing.
Maybe. Whether it's rest, good food, or just relief. It definitely boosts their view of Bensalem.
Understandably.
Okay, day 4. A new governor arrives. Different look, blue clothes, white turban with a small red cross.
More religious symbols.
His greeting is gentle, asks to speak with just a few of them.
The gentleness, the continued religious signs, it probably keeps reassuring the travelers, hints at the society's values.
And this governor brings amazing news. 6 weeks permission to stay.
Wow, generous.
With flexibility to extend. He explains, the stranger's house is flush with funds because nobody's visited for, wait for it, 37 years.
37 years. That really highlights their isolation.
And get this, all their expenses covered by the state. Fair treatment for their merchandise guaranteed. The only restriction.
Let me guess. Don't wander too far.
Exactly. Can't go more than a Karen about 1.5 miles from the city walls without special leave. Incredible generosity with just one clear boundary.
That mix again, generosity and control, it underlines their managed approach to outsiders. 37 years makes this arrival a pretty big deal.
The Europeans are just floored, speechless, feel like they've been saved. They promise obedience, eternal gratitude, total turnaround from their initial fear.
That deep gratitude really shows how unexpected this kindness was. A huge contrast to the dangers they faced. Maybe genuine humanity is core to Bensalem.
And the governor reveals he's a priest, says his reward is just their brotherly love, their spiritual well-being. He leaves, apparently tearfully. And the travelers feel like they're in a land of angels. It's really quite moving.
That attitude, especially from someone in charge, cements the idea that spiritual communal values are key here.
So the very next day, this same governor comes back. More casual now, like a friend.
Oh.
And he suggests they ask him questions. Because, they know nothing about Bensalem.
But Bensalem knows a lot about the world.
Exactly, because of their unique situation. This is where we get into the big mysteries.
Right. This sets up the reveal. How are they both informed and isolated?
And the travelers, given the cross and the priest, their first big question is, how did Bensalem, way out here, become Christian?
Makes sense. That shared faith is their main connection point. And asking about it first clearly pleases the governor, validates their piety, maybe.
So the governor tells this absolutely incredible story. It says about 20 years after Christ's ascension,
Yeah.
a huge pillar of light with a cross of light inside it appeared in the sea near one of their cities, Renfusa.
Wow. A celestial event, clearly seen as direct divine intervention.
And there was a wise man from Salomon's house. We'll get to them in a boat nearby. He recognizes it's a true miracle, prays for understanding.
Salomon's house involved right away. Interesting, faith and reason working together.
And get this, his boat becomes free, floats towards it, while others stay stuck. Then the pillar and cross dissolve into stars, leaving behind a cedar ark floating on the water, with a palm branch on top.
An ark, like Noah's.
Kind of. And inside, even more astonishing, a book containing all the canonical books of the Old and New Testaments.
All of them.
Including Revelation, and even some books that, according to the governor, hadn't even been written yet at that time.
Whoa, okay.
Plus a letter from the Apostle Bartholomew himself. Talk about divine proof.
So the Ark delivers a complete, divinely authenticated scripture. That's the foundation of their faith.
Bartholomew's letter apparently declared salvation and peace for the land where the Ark landed. And here's the miracle part.
There's more.
Hebrews, Persians, Indians, locals, everyone present could read the book and the letter in their own language.
A miracle of tongues, just like in the Bible.
Exactly. Instant understanding. And that, the governor says, is how Bensalem was saved from infidelity.
Powerful stuff. A divine validation transcending language.
But just as he's finishing this amazing story, would you know it, a messenger interrupts him.
Oh, God. Cliffhanger.
Right. But he comes back the next day, apologizes, and picks right back up. Invites more questions.
Okay, good. So after the how Christian question, what's next?
The other big one. How does Bensalem know so much about us, about the world, while Europe knows nothing about them, especially with all the recent exploration?
The core paradox.
They even ask, delicately, if it's supernatural. Maybe angelic help, not magic.
A reasonable question given how unbelievable it seems.
The governor smiles, gets the magic implication, but then drops this historical bombshell. Global navigation, global contact was way more extensive 3,000 years ago than it is in their time, the 17th century.
Really? That flips the script. It's not magic, it's history. But a history Europe doesn't know.
Exactly. He talks about massive fleets, Phoenicians, Tyrians, Carthaginians, Egyptians, Palestinians, Chinese, and the great Atlantis, which he says is America, specifically Peru and Mexico.
Whoa, okay, that's a unique take.
And back then, Bensalem itself had 1,500 ships. It was an era of constant contact. People from Persia, Chaldea, Arabia lived in Bensalem. Their own ships went everywhere. Pillars of Hercules, Atlantic, Mediterranean, even to the borders of East Tartary. A truly interconnected ancient world.
Far more connected than 17th century Europe imagined. This picture of ancient globalization is, well, staggering.
And this Atlantis connection gets dramatic. He says the Great Atlantis America launched 2 huge expeditions, one in the Mediterranean and one straight to Bensalem, which failed, defeated by their king Altaban.
So ancient conflict between Bensalem and American Atlantis.
There's so. But then divine retribution hits Atlantis within a century. Not an earthquake, he says, but a massive flood, utterly destroyed it.
A flood, not an earthquake.
Yeah. And this catastrophe drastically set back America's development, making its people younger, societally, than the old world.
A whole alternative history explaining the Atlantis myth and the state of the Americas. Fascinating.
After that disaster, global navigation just dwindled. Wars, natural shifts. Bensalem stopped sailing outwards. China kept going for a while, but Bensalem chose isolation.
A deliberate choice, then, rooted in these historical events, not just fading away, but deciding to withdraw.
And about 1,900 years ago, this really revered king, King Salomon, made it official policy.
The big decision maker.
Right. He looked at Bensalem, 5,000 miles around, super fertile, totally self-sufficient, and decided to ban foreign entry. This was even after the Atlantis disaster, when people still occasionally showed up.
Why?
To prevent novelties and commixture of manners. Basically, to protect their unique culture and stability. He thought it was more humane than China's strict laws, though.
So cultural preservation was the main goal, balancing protection with some level of humanity.
And it was a nuanced policy. If strangers did land, they were free to leave whenever they wanted. But if they chose to stay, the state provided excellent conditions for them. The catch: almost nobody ever chose to leave.
So they made staying very attractive.
Exactly. But at the same time, Bensalemites were totally forbidden from traveling out, with one absolutely crucial exception.
Yeah, the exception. This must be how they stay informed.
Precisely. And that exception is the founding of Salomon's house.
Okay, here we go. The heart of it all.
It's this institution, dedicated to studying God's works, his creatures, considered the noblest foundation on earth. The name. Maybe a slight twist on King Solomon. They apparently have his natural history works.
Solomon, the wise king. Makes sense.
It's also called the College of the 6 Days Works, linking back to the creation story. It's their intellectual engine.
So Salomon's house is the core of their knowledge system.
And its purpose, get this quote, the knowledge of causes and secret motions of things and the enlarging of the bounds of human empire to the affecting of all things
Mhm.
possible.
Wow. That's
Yeah.
ambitious. Understand everything, achieve anything.
Pretty much. And their method for staying informed while isolated? Brilliant.
Yeah.
Every 12 years, they secretly send out 2 ships.
Secretly.
Each carries 3 fellows from Salomon's house. Their only job, gather knowledge. Affairs, sciences, arts, manufacturing, inventions from all over the world.
So, intelligence gathering.
Purely intellectual intelligence. They bring back books, instruments, patterns, plans. The ships return, the fellows stay abroad undercover until the next mission comes for them. All paid for by the state treasury.
So it's not trade for gold or spices?
Nope. The governor says their trade is for light, for knowledge.
A clandestine, state-funded knowledge network. That's how they do it. Incredible.
The travelers are just blown away by all this. The governor, still gracious, offers to answer more questions, asks how long they want to stay, promises he can arrange it.
Still the perfect host, even after revealing these massive secrets.
So the travelers, feeling free and joyful now, start exploring the city within their limits, of course. And they find the people so humane, so welcoming. They almost forget about home. Sounds like they found paradise.
It really highlights how effective Bensalem's managed approach is. They've created a haven, it seems.
Let's switch gears slightly. Let's talk about some of their customs. One really stands out. The Feast of the Family.
Okay.
It's a state-funded celebration for any man who lives to see 30 or more descendants, kids, grandkids, great-grandkids, over age 3, alive at the same time.
30 descendants. That really shows how much they value family and lineage. And the state pays for the party.
2 days before the feast, the father, they call him the Tirsan, meets with 3 close friends and the city governor.
A planning meeting.
Sort of a family well-being check. They resolve disputes, arrange help for family members, address any bad behavior, give advice on marriages, life choices. It's like a formal family council.
Proactive social harmony. Using this milestone to strengthen the family unit with official support. Interesting.
Then on the feast day, after church, the Tirsan appears. Sits in a special decorated chair. There's this symbolic ivy state thing his daughters made. The whole family gathers, oldest to youngest.
Very ceremonial.
Harold reads out a charter from the king, granting the family privileges, revenue, and presents a golden cluster of grapes.
Symbolizing the descendants.
Exactly. And this cluster is given to the son of the vine. One son, the Tirsan, chooses to live with him. Beautiful symbolism.
Rich symbolism, yeah. Lineage, prosperity, connection, all blessed by the state. And the son of the vine, ensuring tradition passes down.
Then the Tirsan dines alone, served only by his sons. Guests eat separately. They sing a hymn praising Adam, Noah, Abraham, ending with thanks for Christ.
A mix of family, community, and faith.
Afterwards, he comes back and gives individual blessings to every descendant. And he can pick up to 2 sons who've shown special merit and give them a jewel shaped like a wheat ear. The day ends with music and dancing. Sounds really meaningful.
It really does. A powerful blend of celebrating family, spiritual reflection, and recognizing individual worth within that family structure.
Later, the narrator meets this local Jewish merchant, Joabin.
Ah, Joabin. He offers another perspective.
He does. Joab explains, Jews in Bensalem are unique. They can practice their own religion freely.
Which was rare elsewhere then.
Totally. But they also hold positive views of Christ and absolutely love Bensalem. They even have their own traditions, linking them back to Abraham and Moses within Bensalem. Remarkable tolerance.
That acceptance, that positive integration of a minority. It's another standout feature of their society, really contrasts with Europe at the time.
And Joabin gets passionate about Bensalem's chastity, says it's unparalleled, no brothels, no licensed vice at all.
A very strong moral stand.
They're apparently horrified by European tolerance of such things.
Yeah.
Argue it completely undermines marriage.
So a stark moral contrast. They see a direct link between public vice and the health of the family.
They call European justifications for, well, licentiousness, preposterous wisdom. Even compare it to Lot offering his daughters.
Wow, strong words.
They believe unchastity destroys self-reverence. And that self-reverence, right after religion, is the main thing keeping people from vice. It's about personal responsibility for societal good.
That focus on self-reverence is key. Inner respect as the foundation for social order. A very different way of thinking about morality.
Their marriage laws reflect this too. No polygamy, mandatory month between meeting and marrying.
A cooling off period.
Seems like it. Marrying without parental consent isn't void, but the kids lose inheritance rights at penalty.
Interesting balance.
And they disapprove of couples seeing each other naked before marriage, but They have these Adam and Eve's pools,
What on earth are those?
places where trusted friends of the couple can discreetly watch them bathing separately, apparently to check for any hidden physical issues.
Whoa, okay, that's unique. A practical solution within their strict code, addressing concerns without violating propriety.
Seems so. It's all about stable, well-considered marriages. Then, big news arrives. A father of Salomon's house is coming to the city.
A rare event.
Hugely rare. Hasn't happened in 12 years. Jobin is thrilled, promises the travelers a good spot to watch his entry. This is like seeing, I don't know, Einstein arriving.
The rarity just amplifies their importance, right? The mystique, the authority of Salomon's house.
And the entry procession. It's described as absolutely majestic.
Lay it on us.
Middle height, good-looking, kind face, black robe, white linen, peach velvet shoes, special hat. Transported in this incredible chariot, no wheels, made of cedar and crystal.
Cedar and crystal, no wheels.
Yeah, adorned with sapphires, emeralds, gold emblems. Pulled by 4 horses in embroidered blue velvet. 50 young attendants in white and blue velvet.
Quite the entourage.
2 guys walking ahead bareheaded, carrying staffs, 1 balm wood, 1 cedar. City officials follow. He sits alone inside on cushions, just silently blessing the crowds.
And the crowd.
Remarkably orderly, lining the streets. The whole thing is designed purely for reverence.
A spectacle meant to convey profound respect for this intellectual and spiritual leader. The richness, the solemnity, it all points to his incredibly high status.
3 days later, Joabin comes back, bursting with news. The father knows they're there.
Oh, really?
And he's granting the whole company an audience, plus a private meeting just for the narrator, their chosen representative, for a blessing, the day after tomorrow.
Wow. Acknowledging the strangers, offering a personal audience, that shows wisdom, maybe curiosity, potential for knowledge exchange.
So the narrator goes to this private audience, richly decorated room. The father's on a low throne, under a blue satin canopy, 2 pages in white nearby, similar clothes as before, but with a black mantle added. Very important, very wise atmosphere.
The setting reinforces it all. The throne, the canopy, symbols of authority, symbols of the importance of the knowledge he holds.
The father greets him warmly in Spanish, and then makes this incredible offer to reveal the true state of Salomon's house, calls it his greatest jewel.
Offering up their most precious secret.
He says he'll cover 4 things: their purpose, their facilities and tools, what the fellows do, and their rules and rituals. This is it, the big reveal.
The culmination of their journey, the key to understanding Bensalem's genius.
And that ultimate goal, again, stated so clearly, the knowledge of causes and secret motions of things and the enlarging of the bounds of human empire to the affecting of all things possible, still gives me chills.
That mission, understand everything, achieve everything, it really captures that spirit of boundless scientific inquiry.
What comes next is just mind-blowing. A detailed tour of Salomon's house facilities. It shows their total dedication to science. We're talking deep caves.
How deep?
Up to 3 miles deep. Used for experiments on coagulation, freezing, making artificial metals, imitating mines, even curing diseases and maybe prolonging life for hermits living down there.
3 miles down, the scale is incredible, studying everything from geology to medicine, these extreme environments. Hermits involved too. Science and spirituality again.
They also have special burial sites in different earths, studying soils.
Yeah.
And high towers.
Towers, too.
Up to 3 miles high, combined with the mountains they're on, for insulation, refrigeration, watching the weather, conservation, and more hermit dwellings up high. It's like a vertical research city.
Covering all environments from deep earth to high atmosphere allows controlled experiments across a huge range. And again, hermits integrated into the scientific outposts. Unique.
Then there are huge lakes, salt and fresh, for studying fish and birds, burying bodies to see how they preserve, pools for turning saltwater fresh and freshwater salty, coastal areas for sea air experiments. They even harness violent streams and wind with engines.
Mastering natural resources for research, water manipulation, wind power. Very practical applications of science.
They've made artificial wells and fountains that copy natural mineral springs, small wells for infusing water with substances, and get this, something called water of paradise.
Water of paradise sounds mythical.
Supposedly promotes health and long life. Maybe metaphorical, maybe some advanced elixir. Who knows?
Artificial springs show chemical knowledge. That water of paradise hints at advanced medicine, maybe even gerontology.
Inside, they have huge houses just for imitating weather. Artificial snow, hail, rain, thunder, lightning.
Creating weather indoors.
Yeah. and studying spontaneous generation creatures appearing seemingly from nothing in the air.
Yeah.
They're trying to recreate nature itself.
That shows a deep understanding of atmospheric physics, maybe even microbiology if we're looking at airborne life.
Plus, chambers of health for purifying air, for healing and preserving things. Large baths with special mixtures for curing disease and rejuvenating the body.
So early air purification, hydrotherapy, a focus on environmental factors for health, very holistic.
Their orchards and gardens are massive, focused on experiments, grafting, inoculation, manipulating plant growth, making them grow faster, bigger, taste different, have specific medicinal effects.
Advanced horticulture.
They can even apparently grow plants from just earth mixtures, no seeds, and maybe even transmute plants into other kinds. Botany masters.
That suggests incredible knowledge of plant biology, genetics, manipulating life itself. Transmutation sounds wild, but maybe hints at really advanced breeding or modification techniques.
They have parks full of animals and birds, not just to look at, but for dissections, studying vital functions, resuscitation attempts.
Resuscitation.
Yeah, testing poisons and medicines on them. And they can apparently change animal size, fertility, color,
Yeah.
even create new species by mixing existing ones.
Whoa, that's bordering on genetic engineering, isn't it? Pushing biological boundaries in ways Europe couldn't dream of.
Special pools just for fish experiments. Breeding facilities for useful bugs like silkworms and bees.
Covering all bases.
And their food production. Advanced breweries, bakeries, kitchens making specialized drinks, different bases, aging effects, summer food and drink, breads from weird grains, roots, even flesh, meats that are super tender or lets you fast longer or even harden your own flesh.
Food science on another level, understanding nutrition, chemistry, preservation, beyond just feeding people.
Their pharmacies, dispensatories, are packed with drugs, ingredients, many aged, prepared with amazing distillation methods. Plus, mechanical arts way beyond Europe, unique paper, linen, silk, dyes, amazing featherwork.
So mastery of pharmacology, materials, science, engineering, it all connects.
They have furnaces for precise heat control, all ranges. Can even imitate the sun's heat or heat from compost or motion.
Total control over thermal energy, essential for so many scientific processes, thermodynamics, energy sources. They understood it.
Perspective houses for studying light, color, magnification, illusions, shadows. Can generate light from weird sources. Make artificial distances for viewing. They're optical aids. Way better than glasses. Can see tiny things clearly.
Early microscopes, perhaps.
Seems like it. Can make artificial rainbows, halos. Their understanding of optics is just centuries ahead.
Manipulating light, magnification, revolutionary stuff.
They have precious stones, crystals, weird glass, fossils unknown in Europe, super powerful magnets, lodestones, and sound houses.
Sound houses.
Yeah. To practice and demonstrate all sounds. Harmonies Europe doesn't know.
No.
Unique instruments. They can manipulate sound, make it louder, softer, deeper, imitate voices, enhance hearing with devices, artificial echoes, even transmit sound over distances.
Acoustics, wave mechanics, hints of advanced communication tech. Amazing.
Perfume houses, too.
Yeah.
Exploring smells and tastes, multiplying scents, imitating them, creating taste illusions. And a Confuture house, like a candy. It preserves its place with way more variety than Europe. Sweet meats, wines, milks, broths, salads.
A comprehensive study of all the senses. Olfaction, gustation, understanding the chemistry of taste and smell.
And the engine houses. This is where it gets really wild. Studying all kinds of motion. Tech that surpasses European stuff in speed, power, even stronger than cannons.
Stronger than cannon.
Yeah. They simulate warfare, have new kinds of gunpowder, unquenchable fires, crazy fireworks. They imitate flight.
Flight.
And have underwater vessels, explore perpetual motion, build incredibly lifelike automata robots. This is pure sci-fi for the 1600s.
Powered flight, submarines, robotics. Their engineering is just off the charts. Unbelievable advancements.
They also have math houses with exquisite instruments for geometry, astronomy, and, interestingly, houses of deceits of the senses.
To study illusions.
Exactly. Illusions, fallacies of perception. But, and this is key, Salomon's house strictly forbids faking results or artificially exaggerating things. Even their study of deception is rigorous and ethical.
Fascinating. A commitment to truth, even when studying how senses can be fooled, speaks volumes about their scientific integrity.
Okay, so that's the what. Now the father explains how the structure of Salomon's house, how they actually do all this.
The roles of the fellows.
Right. First, 12 merchants of light. These are the guys who travel secretly, bringing back books, abstracts, experiment plans from other countries.
The secret agents of science.
Then 3 depredators. Their job is to collect experiments already described in books.
Okay, literature review.
3 mystery men. They collect experiments from practical trades, arts, sciences, stuff that isn't written down yet.
Gathering practical hands-on knowledge, like ethnography for science.
Then 3 pioneers or miners. These guys invent and try new experiments. The innovators.
The R&D department.
After them, 3 compilers. They take all the data from the travelers, books, trades, new experiments, and organize it. Put it into titles, tables, make it easier to see patterns and derive axioms.
Data management and synthesis. Crucial step.
Next, 3 dowry men, or benefactors. They look at the compiled data and figure out practical uses for human life and knowledge. Things like predicting diseases, understanding material properties, the application side.
Translating research into practical benefits, tech transfer almost.
Then 3 lamps. Based on all the findings, they direct new, higher-level experiments, setting the next research agenda.
The strategic thinkers, guiding the next wave.
These new experiments are carried out by 3 inoculators. They do the work and report the results.
The lab workers executing the plan.
And finally, 3 interpreters of nature. They take the results from the inoculators and elevate them into broader theories, axioms, aphorisms, the big picture thinkers.
Synthesizing results into fundamental principles, completing the cycle. It's an incredibly sophisticated structure.
Totally. And besides these 36 fellows, there are novices, apprentices, tons of servants. They also have a whole process for deciding what inventions to publish and what to keep secret.
Controlled knowledge dissemination.
Sometimes they reveal things only to the state. It's strategic management of powerful knowledge.
Makes sense given the potential impact of some of those discoveries.
They also have these 2 long galleries to honor invention. One shows models of great inventions.
A museum of technology.
The other has statues of great inventors, not just their own, but Europeans too. Columbus, inventors of ships, gunpowder, printing, music, letters, astronomy, based on what they think are the true histories.
They even researched the history of foreign invention. Shows that respect for innovation, regardless of origin.
They have statues of their own inventors too,
Yeah.
made of all sorts of materials, brass, marble, cedar, iron, silver, gold. And they give big rewards for useful inventions. They really value innovation.
Public recognition, rewards, clear incentives for progress.
And underpinning all this science, daily hymns and services, praising God for his works, praying for help in their research, and for it to be used for good.
Faith and science totally intertwined. They see their work as understanding God's creation.
Finally, the fellows make periodic visits to major cities in Bensalem to announce useful new inventions, predict natural events, plagues, disasters, and offer advice on prevention and remedies. They actively share the benefits with their society.
Applying knowledge for the common good, proactive problem solving. It completes the picture.
So the father finishes this incredible explanation. He blesses the narrator, gives permission to publish the account for other nations,
Generous.
emphasizing Bensalem's special, divinely favored, secluded status, gives them a generous bounty of money too. And then the text just stops with the words, "The rest was not perfected." Leaves you hanging, wondering what else there was.
It really does. Deepens the mystery. What other wonders remain hidden? In an unfinished masterpiece.
So let's try to pull some key takeaways from all this for you listening. Think about that deliberate isolation, combined with this intense drive for knowledge, but knowledge for the common good.
Right, and reflect on that incredibly advanced science they described. And the core values, chastity, family, service, that integration of faith and reason.
It definitely leaves you with questions, doesn't it? What other marvels were there? How would a society like this actually fare over centuries? Could it resist outside pressure, internal change?
Those are the big unknowns. It's a snapshot, a vision.
And maybe here's a final thought to chew on. Could Bensalem, this fiction from 400 years ago, still inspire us? How we chase knowledge, how we structure society, what light, as they called it, can we maybe draw from this old story for our world today?
It's definitely thought-provoking. If this deep dive into New Atlantis got you curious, we really recommend finding the full text. There's so much more nuance and detail to explore in Bacon's vision of this hidden utopia.